What is up, DIY fam? You're watching Rent This Flip That, and yeah, you probably see you're still out at the AC01 remodel. How long has it been? It's been a long time, way longer than we should have been. And however, I have been debating whether or not to film stuff or not film stuff, because when you're filming and you're working on a project, sometimes it takes 2 to 3 times longer to do the project, just because you're moving the camera around, placing things, blah blah blah, and all that. Don't want to bore you, but anyway, I thought about not filming this, and Kelly's like, oh, I think this is when you should probably film. So here's what's going on. Let me take you through this post over here in the column that's going on and explain what was there and show you what we're going to do as far as a plan going forward. Let's take a look. My goodness. So over here there literally was just this block right here and a couple of these, and it just made an L, and it wasn't even, it was just staggered, you know, it wasn't even square with each other. And that post, believe it or not, was literally just sitting on there, not anchored to it or anything like that. That is holding up this beam right here, and it is holding up the gable on this side. It's a lot of weight. Okay, so you can see I got 2 4x6 posts there yesterday, and I got those where they are literally holding it up in 2 spots instead of just 1, so that I can build this. Now, I've never done any masonry work before in my life, but I've watched tons of videos and did a lot of research, and these 6 block I believe I can handle. Then we're going to cap it off with that. So take a look over here. You can see this block here is 1.5 inches. So I came over and I figured, when I'm looking at my joints over there, they're around 3/8, ½ inch or something like that. So I went 1.5 inches. And then I added 3/8, 3/8, 3/8, and 3/8. That's 4 of them. So you have the one on the bottom. That's 1, 2, 3, and then the one where I glue it to the cap, right? So I went up to 3 inches right there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the metal right there, and then I will pull all this block out and start building. Now you can see I took a pencil mark and drew around where it goes to make it a little bit more easier on myself. But that is the plan. And then once I get this whole thing over here, I believe, because I've thought about this, like now I got to attach it to it. So I'm going to use some concrete tap cons and use some L brackets to attach it to this. Now that's not necessarily conventional, but bro, what was there? What was there? That's like 100% improvement. Anyway, that is the plan. We'll see how that goes. So you see, when I was young, I was all into art, and I thought I was going to grow up and do graphic designing and do some kind of art. This is not exactly that, but I tell you what, it is fun to do this, because it does feel like I'm actually putting an art piece together. And when it's done, I like being satisfied with something when it works out the way I like it to work out. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's right, but when I see it in my head, I like that I can see it in my head and I can make it happen in real life. Alright guys, no more wasting time. I'm gonna go here and get some mortar mixed up and get my little concrete tool, and we're gonna start laying these blocks. Here we go. See, it's things like that. So let me tell you this. If you can appreciate the fact that I had to hold that metal and squeeze it tight so it didn't vibrate everywhere, and I had to cut it with one hand, and I gave you 3 different camera views, then help me out by going down and smacking that like button. It only takes a second, but it definitely helps the channel. All right guys, back to work. It's out of the level a little bit, so this side needs to be a little bit taller. Nah, I ain't saying it's gotta be that much taller, but it doesn't need to be taller. Smooth this out to the middle. Okay, so I want it lower over here, and I want it higher over here. Look at that, boys. Way too much. Okay, not a problem. All right, so it looks like we're good this way, and we are good this way. All right, sweet. Hey guys, feel free to chime in and give me some tips on what I'm doing here. Why doesn't it stick? You know, I don't know. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So can I put my foot right here and you not cut me?
Yeah. That block's not attached, that. All right, now I'm gonna go on this side. Let me win.
All right.
I'll try to get this side. I don't have a lot of room.
No, I'm not there. All right.
All right. Yeah, I can probably do the rest with the SAWZAW. Yeah, thanks.
You don't need me to hold it?
No. Thank you.
Now my circular saw only cuts about 2 to 2.5 inches into the wood. So to finish it off, I like to use my Dewalt handheld SAWZAW. This thing really comes in clutch for projects like this and for small little tight areas.
I like it. Take it. Come in. All right, team, so I have made it to the last course of block right there. You take a look. And now what I think my next course of action is this 4x6 post I have right here. I had it up yesterday and it was snug up underneath there, but for some reason when I started smacking this 4x6 over, it just fell down. I'm like, that's fine, it's fine, because I already had this one up too. So now I got 3 4x6 posts holding this beam up, and now what I'm going to try to do is jack this up a little bit. Why, you asked? Right now I have like about 1/4 of an inch between what would be mortar and the top cap block, and I want to try to make it a little more consistent with the rest, which is around 3/8, and that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to jack this thing up about 1/4 of an inch, throw some mud in there, try to slide that block in there, let it sit down, and then we can just, once everything's set up, we can just lower it back down, the post back down onto the finished cap with it all plumb. All right, at least that's the plan. All right, here we go. And if you take a look up there, I put these little, like, I call them dog ears, just to kind of hold that post into place, because I didn't want to screw a screw through my metal if I didn't have to. So I don't think I'm gonna have to, but here we go.
I'm gonna let you get down. My face is right here. See?
Yep.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
It's not gonna lift, so you'll have to lift it.
I'm lifting.
Now, these posts are pretty heavy, and as I stated earlier, I did not screw them to the beam. I just put the little dog ears to stop them from falling once I started jacking up the main beam. Kelly's job is to slide the shims that I made underneath, but I don't think she realizes how heavy those posts are.
Put that in there. All right.
Maybe I'm not strong enough to lift it. Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah, I was pulling up on it as hard as I could on that. It didn't lift.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Thank you. All right, team, so we have the whole block column installed, and so what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let that thing sit up for just a little while. I'm not gonna drop the 6x6 down on it just yet. I wanna make sure that mortar and everything is set up real good. I mean, think about it, it's gonna be holding up the whole house, so I don't wanna quite do that. All right, guys, I'll check back in with you tomorrow. All right, guys, so we are back. It has been 3 days since I did this, and I wanted to wait until all the mortar in the middle was the same color as the block, because I didn't trust myself. I've never done it before. It said 24 to 48 hours to get to 65% of its full strength, and it'll probably take about 28 days to fully cure, but you can start putting weight on it at the 65, and I think we're there. I think we've been there, but I gave it a little extra time. So it's actually been somewhere around 50 hours. I don't know, I started it at 3 p.m. 3 days ago, so it's 10 o'clock in the morning now. So here we go. What I have done is I plumbed this up. This is a 6x6 post that is wrapped in metal, and I plumbed it up and I stuck a shim in there, plumbed it both ways, and took a pencil line and drew around that, because I know it's going to be hard to pinpoint exactly where that goes once this is down. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to jack this beam up just a little bit, because we jacked it up a little bit to place these little bitty shims underneath our 4x6 post to give us a little bit more room to put mortar in here, so that I could slide my top cap in and then set it down. Then I figured I could just drop it, see, because it's just free floating this post right here. So step one, we're going to jack this up, and we are going to remove these two right here. And then while Kelly is holding this over my pencil line, as perfect as she can be, as close to as perfect as she can be, we are going to drop this one right here and let this post sit on this block and absorb all the weight of this big giant gable in the front of the house. At least that's the theory. I don't know if I should be on the inside in case it falls or not, but hopefully I'll be able to just run. All right, here we go.
Fall.
Who knows?
It's not gonna
All right, here we go. So I'm gonna jack this up, and these are gonna come loose. I feel like they might even, no, they're not loose yet. All right, you ready? That one's yours, this one's mine. Oh, that post is wiggly. Came off my shim. I mean, yeah, I think they'll go now. All right, let's see. All right, Kelly, you need to hold that right over my pencil line. And I wouldn't put my fingers down there because I don't want to smash them. All right, are you ready, ma'am? I say, are you ready, ma'am?
Yeah, it's just gonna go down a little at a time, huh?
We're gonna try to go down a little bit at a time. Sometimes thing just drops and I ain't got control over how it happens.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, that's it. What is it gonna get?
All right. We're there. Let me check that with a level. Look at that. Check this way. Look at that. I'll take it. One beam column installed. All right, team, it looks like that's gonna do it for our column building video. I had a lot of fun doing that. That was my first time. Hopefully you learned something as I did on this one. Now, I bought these because I still wanna anchor this thing down to the concrete block column, and I got some Teflons. I'm gonna do that. All right, guys, there is so much more going on the AC01 remodel. So if you guys wanna follow our progress, I would suggest you go down there and subscribe to the channel and become part of the DIY family and turn on notifications. And also, if you enjoyed today's video, it would definitely help if you would go down and smack the like button. It literally only takes a second, but you have no idea how much it helps the channel. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for me on this one, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until next time, take care and stay safe. Peace.